My name is Detective Pierce. I never walk without noticing the shadows. I've learned that they often notice me first. That night, however, I wasn't working. I wasn't hunting monsters in alleys, or prying open doors that begged to stay closed. I was simply leaving a friend's apartment after too much brandy and too much talk of old cases. I wanted air. Silence. A quiet walk through the park before the city swallowed me again. The park was empty, as it should have been. Midnight had come and gone. The benches were slick with dew, the lamps glowed weak and yellow like fading embers. Trees rose like dark pillars, their branches netted together to form a ceiling that seemed to lean down, too close, too watchful. My shoes clicked softly against the stone path. The world was silent, almost reverent. No dogs barked, no leaves rustled, not even the hum of a far-off car. Just me, the lamps, and the winding black of the park. And then, the sound. At first, I thought it was a child crying. Faint, brittle, carried on the wind. It didn't belong here. Not at this hour, not in this place. I stopped, listening, the air turning colder against my skin. It came again. High, thin, like a sob pressed through clenched teeth. It echoed between the trees, though I could not place its source. I should have turned back. That's what any man with sense would have done. But I am not built that way. My feet carried me deeper, toward the sound, down a path where the lamps no longer reached. The further I walked, the more the air seemed to warp. The park felt altered. The trees leaned wrong. The shadows curved where they should have stretched straight. Even the path seemed narrower, as if the world was trying to press me into a single point. And then I saw it. A swing set. Rusted chains swaying gently, though there was no wind. The cries were louder now, close, too close. One swing was moving, as though a child had just leapt from it. But the swing was empty. And still, the crying didn't stop. The crying grew sharper, as if needles were being driven into the night. My hand brushed against the revolver at my side, an old companion I rarely needed, but never abandoned. Guns don't scare ghosts, I've learned, but sometimes it's not ghosts you're facing. I stepped closer to the swings. The metal frame creaked as though someone had just shifted their weight upon it, though the chains hung empty. The sound of the sobbing grew louder, rawer, but I still couldn't see the source. "Who's there?" My voice carried low, steady. "Show yourself." For a moment, nothing. Silence pressed in. The swing's slow creak echoed like a heartbeat. And then, something small darted across the corner of my vision. Child-sized, quick, pale against the black. I turned sharply. The path behind the swings yawned into deeper shadows, the lamps thinning out, suffocated by trees. And there, just beyond their reach, stood a figure. A child. Or something trying very hard to be one. It was small, no higher than my chest, dressed in what looked like an old nightgown, its fabric gray and heavy with dirt. The hair hung long and tangled, dripping as if it had just been pulled from water. But the face, I could not see the face. Not yet. The sobbing was coming from it. I was sure of it. But the sound wasn't right. It didn't come from a throat, it came from everywhere at once, the trees, the ground, the air itself. 100 voices crying through one body. "Are you lost?" I asked, though the words felt foolish. The figure tilted its head. Slowly. Too slowly. As if testing the motion for the first time. The sobs stopped. And in their place, laughter rose. Not childlike. Not innocent. It was sharp, brittle, wrong, as though the sound itself were tearing apart at the edges. The figure took a step forward, and the shadows stretched around it like liquid. I drew my revolver. "Stay where you are." It ignored me. Another step. Then another. Its head hung low, hair veiling the face, but I could see its hands now, long, too long, the fingers blackened at the tips, curling like claws. I steadied my breath, raised the weapon. Last warning? Then, at last, the figure looked up. And I saw its face. It wasn't a child. Not anymore. The skin was waxy and pale, stretched thin over bone, the eyes enormous and hollow like pits filled with water. Its mouth opened, wider than any human mouth should, revealing teeth that were jagged, mismatched, and endless. The laughter cut off. Silence swallowed the park whole. And in that silence the thing spoke. "Why do you follow me?" Its voice was a chorus, dozens of tones layered together. A man, a woman, a child, all at once. I didn't answer. I couldn't. My pulse pounded so hard I thought my ribs might break. Then it lunged. The swing chains clanged violently as the creature darted past them, moving with speed no child could ever manage. I fired. The shot cracked through the trees, echoing like thunder. The figure staggered but didn't fall. It only screamed, the sound shaking the very air, rattling through my bones. I ran. Not out of fear, but strategy. I needed space, distance, ground I could control. Running through the twisted paths of the park, I heard the thing pursuing me, its steps uneven, fast, scraping. Every shadow seemed to leap with it. And then, up ahead, I saw something I did not expect. Another figure. Tall, still, standing in the middle of the path, as if it had been waiting for me. Two of them. The child thing behind, the tall thing ahead. And me, caught in between. Two of them. One behind, one ahead. I slowed my steps, my mind racing faster than my legs ever could. Running blindly would make me prey. No, I needed to think like a hunter, even in the jaws of the dark. The tall figure ahead did not move. Its silhouette loomed unnaturally long, like the shadow of a man stretched far beyond human shape. The head seemed crooked, bent to one side, and the arms hung down almost to the ground. It waited. Patient, silent. Behind me, the child thing crept closer, the sound of its uneven steps dragging along the gravel. My revolver trembled slightly in my grip, not from fear, but from the realization that bullets had no place in this kind of nightmare. The air grew heavier. The trees swayed without wind. And then, faintly, I heard whispers. Hundreds of them, overlapping, impossible to understand. They came from everywhere. From the ground, the trees, from beneath the very skin of the night. I was inside something's hunting ground. The child laughed again, sharp and broken. The tall one finally moved, its head twitching unnaturally, as if bones cracked with each motion. Step by step, they closed in. No escape. Not forward, not back. I took a slow breath. "All right," I muttered to myself. "If you want to play." I holstered the revolver, my free hand reaching instead for something more reliable. A small silver chain, worn smooth with years of use. A relic from my father, never once failed me in dealings with the unexplainable. I let it glint in the pale lamplight. The reaction was instant. The child screamed, clawing at its own face, the sound splitting the night like shattered glass. The tall figure reeled back, its head snapping violently from side to side. The whispers grew frantic, a storm of voices shrieking through the park. I stepped forward, chain in hand, forcing myself between them. "You don't belong here," I said, voice steady, though every nerve screamed to run. "This ground isn't yours. Go back." The chain vibrated, hot in my hand, glowing faintly as though alive. The entities recoiled further, their shapes flickering. The child stretched taller, the tall figure folded smaller, both unraveling like smoke. Their forms twisted, melted, collapsed. For one terrifying instant, they combined into a single towering shape, a black mass of limbs and mouths, all screaming at once. The air turned thick as tar, pressing against my lungs. I gripped the chain tighter, thrusting it forward, and with a final roar, the thing burst apart into fragments of shadow, scattering into the night like dust caught in the wind. Silence. The park lay empty. The swings hung still. The lamps flickered once, then steadied. I stood there, breath ragged, staring at the empty path. My hand throbbed, the chain still warm against my skin. And then, just as I turned to leave, I saw it. On the ground, where the creature had collapsed, lay something small. A toy. A child's doll, porcelain, its face cracked in half, one glassy eye staring upward. I bent down, picked it up. And on the back, written in faded ink, were words that froze me to the bone. Find us. The doll crumbled to ash in my hand. I pocketed the chain, lit a cigarette with shaking fingers, and walked out of the park without looking back. Some cases end with answers. Others with warnings. This one? It was both. And something told me I hadn't seen the last of them.